Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to this course itself, because there's certain elements in this course that'll be fun for me this year. Of course, the core of the course is offering the basics of whole body focusing. That's the purpose, or the reason we're doing this is to offer people an opportunity to learn something different and start at the beginning. There are people here who will be new to focusing, and there are people who have had a lot of focusing experience, but not in this way. There are certain things that whole body focusing brings that will offer a new experience. So that's what is kind of fun. But I'm also excited about is that I have, it looks like, about 6 very experienced teachers to support me here. Actually, I'm one of the teachers. I'm only one of the 6, I believe, because there's I would like a ratio of 1 teacher to 2 persons new to whole body focusing. So that makes it a very interesting environment. Well, let me talk about the structure, what to expect. And as I've mentioned, it is the basics of whole body focusing. That's the theme. And each morning, and it's a morning class for the whole week, it's about 3 hours. We begin with a grounding, or a kind of active meditation to bring us present to whatever is going to be the topic of the day. It's just bringing us our consciousness there rather than somewhere else, so that you're kind of open and curious of what it is that we'll be doing. So part of it is a kind of relaxation, attunement, slight meditation, but also on the theme of the day. Following that, there will be a, well, I would say a discussion or a talk from me, from my own felt sense of what that topic is for me today. So it's fresh. It's not a script. I will be modeling the quality of speaking directly from the felt sense of a something, an issue or a topic. And it will feel different. Then rather than talking about something, I will talk from that something. So that's my part in that. And I will be discussing or sharing what we'll be doing, which naturally leads to a kind of demonstration to put into visual, experiential terms what we just shared. So I will invite one of the teachers. All these teachers will have had at least 4 years experience doing this, so they know what they're doing. I will invite one of them to work with me. In fact, I might be listening to them, or they may be listening to me. It doesn't matter. The purpose is to show you what it will look like, because you're going to repeat that exercise. You're going to have a hands-on direct experience of what we're talking about. And then we'll have some questions, or some time anyways, to clarify what we just did, why we did it, any other questions around the whole morning exercise. And time for a coffee break halfway through. But before we break up, we will organize the group structures so that after coffee they know where they're going to go. So they will pair up, as I said earlier, 2 participants and 1 teacher. They'll know who it is. They'll change each day. So they'll, so hopefully for me, I will probably meet and work with just about everybody during that week. Then we'll go off and have a break, and then meet somewhere. doesn't have to be in this room. It could be, if it's a lovely summer day, it could be by the lake or by the river, I should say, or in the park somewhere. And then you will be asked to explore the exercise that is appropriate to that particular subject. And you will have lots of support and backup from the teacher that's present. Probably the teacher will either lead you through the exercise or you will lead each other, the two participants, to work together. It depends upon the level of experience or the comfort zone of that experience. So that's basic, the structure for lunch. Then it comes at the end. We will not meet in a circle because you could be all over the property. You'll just go to lunch. So there's no cutoff date, or you can be exactly on time, or you can be early or late. It doesn't matter. You just join everyone for lunch at whatever the time is. I've forgotten what the time is. And that's it for the morning. And then we repeat that each day, the same structure. Intunement, demonstration, exercise, practice, hands-on direct work with each other. That's the program. I'd just like to say a little bit what that term whole body focusing means. It wasn't thought up. It just happened out of the blue, that terminology. But it is a physically based structure that came out of my years of training as an Alexander teacher, which is a hands-on physical training, and combined with focusing. So it comes from that body base, which is an added ingredient to the focusing experience. In fact, in my opinion, it enhances that experience because it connects that feeling inside, which we refer to as the felt sense place, feeling supported by the environment around you. It's not just you alone, it's you being supported by the physical world. It works as a container. You're part of this life, you're part of gravitational space. Your body, naturally as an antenna, is seeking safety and solid groundedness. It looks for a safe container in order to hold whatever it is that it needs to pay attention to. So we expand on that. We create a physical containment that gives a signal inside that there are limits here, there are boundaries, there are things that can be explored, but in a safe way. So that's a little different. And it appeals to people who are, say, attracted to the physicality of being present to their own stories. I think they'll know that. So the word whole body focusing will tend to invoke a bodily experience of whether this is something for you. What part of the focusing modality is peculiar to me, or what part of it was awakened my own consciousness that I actually bring to focusing, that focusing, at least on the explicit level, didn't concern itself with. And that's called spontaneous inner directed movement that is spontaneous. So that when somebody is in a process, being with something of themselves, we explore the possibility that the suffering of that, or the endurance of that, it introduces a sense of movement, which creates a safety, because the fear is always being stuck in something. Something's overwhelming. But if there's a movement element in that, at least they can pay attention to that quality of movement. But it isn't just any kind of movement. it seems to come from the deeper levels of our wisdom that has a mind of its own. And that's the big piece of the learning that this program, one of the basic elements of this program, is the capacity to allow movement to happen. Because that's what we can pay attention to as something in us is moving us forward in our lives and changing the integration or the new thing in a way that feels non-threatening. Having said that, the big shift in this is, can I let go of control? Can I let something in me move me in a way beyond my experience that's even better than what I could do for myself? And that came as an inspiration out of my Alexander world, actually, because I couldn't do that then until suddenly I could do everything that Alexander would hope would happen. I realized I have it inside myself. I know how to do that. I just didn't know how to access that. So there's a deep wisdom in us that we talk about, and we have faith about, or we pray about, all that. But what is remarkable is we engage it. We enter into an engagement where we ask it to give us a physical experience of ourselves. And then we wait and we watch and we allow it to unfold. And we learn so much from that because we cross that barrier of our edge of control to letting go in a healthy kind of way. There are many different kinds of movements and disciplines of movements about allowing spontaneous inner-directed movement. Where focusing comes in that's different than any other kinds of movements is that we bring up the meaning and the purpose of those movements. Movements can happen, but we don't know why they're happening, or it can be vague. But with focusing, this deeper wisdom that acts in that way, in a spontaneous way, in purposeful way, all of that, we can access why it's doing that, where it's going, and let it have a conversation with us. So we become more conscious of the part of us that has become conscious, wants to move forward because it needs to from a well-being or a balance or an integration point of view. We access the why of that and the purposefulness. So we allow that aspect to come to the story of our lives in a way we don't normally in body-based exercises or practices. That's a key element here of what focusing brings to these body-based practices. There's a video now that you'll probably receive, if you haven't already, about the celebration over the last 10 years. And it really touched me very deeply because you sense the atmosphere of over that period of 10 years. We create a certain environment. We don't know how we do that, but we come together. And there is a way of being for a week that is truly heartfelt. It's not manufactured, it's not taught, but it just happens. And I think that's why I keep coming back, because it's the kind of community building that we all search for, and I certainly do, and I would want to support. So I return to it, and each year I'm not disappointed. It happens year in and year out. And then I look over the 10 years, many of the teachers are still there. And I know that our own lives have grown immensely over that period of time. So we too have been gifted and move forward over that period of time. But it's the joy of life. It's the joy of community. It's the kind of heartfelt receptivity of themselves and other people Yeah, and I want to say that again. It's about just being me, and I'm open to enjoy you being you. That's quite a different kind of community that I certainly grew up with.